What do you think is more dangerous to the country, drag or guns?
Drag, for sure.
How come?
It's poisoning the youth. That's what's going to run our country. It's scary. But guns is my right.
What's a bigger problem for America, do you think, drag or guns?
Drag.
And why is that?
I would not want my kids to be anywhere around drag.
But what about guns and people, buying them and assault weapons and all the death it causes versus drag, which, let's face it, not a lot of people die from drag.
Well, then I think that's how people get mentally ill with all the drag stuff that's going on. Weapons are not going to walk out of the house and kill people. People do it.
So following that logic, drag would make people sort of sick in the head and lead them to get a gun and do something.
I believe so, yes.
I believe that people should express themselves how they want, but in the privacy of their own homes. I don't believe that they should push it onto people. And for the question about guns, I believe that we should kind of stick to the Second Amendment.
Okay, so there's a lot, I think, to love in that. By the way, that last couple, the young couple, or maybe their brother and sister, I don't know, I don't particularly care. They actually later, when pressed, they were willing to admit that some gun control might not be a bad idea. So they did say that. They eventually sort of backed off of just whatever the Second Amendment is. And I think the woman in that final shot said something like, whoever's president should just decide. So that's reasonable or whatever. But I love the argument that they should be allowed to express themselves, but only in privacy. Don't push it on anyone, as they are covered head to toe in Trump. Like they seem to be big fans of expressing themselves and pushing things on people. But anyway, pretty much everyone seemed to agree drag is more dangerous. Even when Michael very carefully walks them down the path to, well, if that makes people crazy and dangerous, and then they'll go get a gun, wouldn't you not want them to get a gun? And they found no inconsistency there at all. What do you think?
I mean, it is interesting to see the way the young MAGA folks reacted versus sort of the like, oh, I have straight up been, Sauvignon Blanc drunk for 12 years now, and my husband is mostly on his boat, and I mostly just watch the five, constantly, and then reruns of the five, and then I stay up for Gutfeld. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain, forgive me, but brain deadness of the older MAGA crowd, and then the younger MAGA crowd is like, they're saying what their parents say, but they know it doesn't actually sound right coming out of their mouth, so they're trying to sort of caveat it like, well, I think the privacy of your own home, and then and like, yes, of course, when pressed around guns, it's like, yeah, kids, this is the #1 issue with climate change nipping at the heels of gun violence. The fact that kids don't feel safe in their own effing schools. So like, as scary as all that is, it's a little bit hopeful because I'm like, those young folks are gettable, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, they did seem a little bit more reasonable, and even like when they would just say like something like, I believe in the Second Amendment, like it very often, although I'm sort of undercutting myself, I was gonna say it didn't really seem like it was a super informed thing.
Sure.
Like they wouldn't then follow it up with, and here's why. But then the adults didn't either. Like why is drag more dangerous than guns? Because I wouldn't want my kid near a drag queen. Yeah, but that's just you saying it's bad again. You're not saying why. Why means something different than just repeat yourself. But look, a lot of people are busy. A lot of people don't have the time or the inclination to follow politics that much. They pretty much accept what is presented to them. The issue is that this is not a random sampling of America. Michael Shure was not knocking on random doors. These are people who are so into politics that they went to a Trump rally that he didn't even show up to. Like they should be the most informed. They're certainly the most interested, and it didn't seem to come through in their arguments.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.